So, the main event. Going to give you the rundown on all the babies. Going to give you the skinny, as they say somewhere still. Well, they used to say anyway. I don't think they probably say that anymore. Nobody says that anymore. But I'm going to say it now. We're going to give you the skinny. Antigua Dio looked good again this week. Danny put her on the front. I thought she looked impressive. Gee, she's getting bigger, that filly. She's leaving Monday. Antigua Dio, that was her last training trip with us. I hope Mr. Cherry and Ross Krogan are impressed with how the horses look when they get there. Antigua Dio's she's not a giant, but she's growing. Looks good to me, does her work well. Good turn of foot, attitude's changing all the time. Happy with her. Very happy with the way she looked. Danny was very, very happy with her. So sad to see her go, but excited to see what Antigua Dio is going to do in 2018. I appreciate the opportunity to train these babies down for Let It Ride Stables and Eric and Lisa Cherry. And hopefully we can do some business in the future. Arvika, we touched on Arvika, how good she was. Number two this week in the stable. Very impressive mile out of her. Autumn Wings. Can't see how happy. I own a little piece of Autumn Wings, so obviously when I don't own any of our Vic or Maintenance Man or Springbridge Proud, a lot of those horses I don't own any of. Obviously I can't, but I do own a piece of Autumn Wings. A good friend of mine, a gentleman I got to know very, very well in the stable, who's helped me out quite a bit, owns a piece of this horse with me. So Johnny and I own a chunk of Autumn Wings. I called him right after she trained and we talked, and I told him very impressed with what I saw from Autumn Wings on Friday. I was getting a little concerned because week after week after week I saw that power, saw that raw talent and that drive and that acceleration. I didn't see that comfort level sink to where I need to be. Just have that nice, even comfort feel in the bit to her. I just didn't see that. I felt a filly that was self-conscious in the turns, eager to impress, but concerned with her overall work on the track. She laid all that to rest on Saturday, so very impressed with Autumn Wings. Bay Jewel trained fantastic. Brett fell in love with her on Friday. Really, really impressed with what I saw from her. Short set, small field. Looked good though. Looked really, really good. Did her work well. She loves to work now, that filly. So we're gonna start piling on the work to her moving forward. Be My Delight looked great. Little Peggy again Saturday morning. Her knees bother her, that filly, a little bit, but she works through it. She's getting better. Getting better. Progress. It's very important to see progress, inch by inch or foot by foot. You need that progress, and I see it every week from her. Tall order yesterday. By all accounts, she trained well and was not on line yesterday, so that was good. Very happy with her in that regard. Be My Delight. Better Call Mike's still out. Obviously, he's going to be out for a few months. These are in alphabetical order, so Better Call Mike. His knees were bothering him. He's the first horse out. First horse voted off the island, so he went out to greener pastures to bounce around and play all summer. We'll bring him in later on, try and have him ready for the fall of 2018. Boldness. Made a few little shoeing changes, trying to get this. I see him almost there, and I'm like, I think if I do this or I do that, he might turn the corner and he'll be there. It's just one step forward, two steps back with Boldness. He never runs. He's a game little bastard, I'll tell you what. You can't fault him. I love this little horse, and he's strong too. He wants to do his work. You can feel him, but still had clicking and clacking. So we can make a few little adjustments, put him back the way he was. Obviously, if you come to a fork in the road and you say, hey, if I go this way and I think he'll be better, he's worse, go back and go this way. So we're going to make a different shoeing change, which to me would be the opposite of what he needs. But that's the thing about these horses. A lot of time it's trial and error. Friday was an error, and he still looked pretty good. Went around 26, and he showed him the last half. He actually went by everybody the next half, and Harry said, I won with Boldness. I said, okay, you win. But trial and error, so we're going to get, he's close to being right. He's right there, but he's still doing his work, and he learns. He's smart. Move, sit. It don't matter with him. Just got to get him there. He's almost there. Buckingham trained awesome again. Come first over. I mean, it's a tall order. Come first over, and Mo Better was a freak on Friday, and Buckingham did as good as she could. I thought she trained well. Casanova's Jewel, I lost him. I'm gonna start taking that Colt over to Mohawk. I don't know why I keep torturing him. He's a big giant Colt, and he didn't want to run yesterday. I just put him in a bad spot, and I called his bluff, and he ran. So I'm going to take him to Mohawk on Wednesday and go mile 212, maybe 210 with him. But smartness-wise, he's there now. Before, he was a big, goofy, ignorant colt that was trying to be a bossy, be a bit of a bully on the track, and that's subsided. Work usually does that, and he worked hard for about 2 weeks, and now he's very polite and does his work well, and made a little break, but I shouldn't have done that with him the other day. Not a big deal. We can correct that. Take him over to Mohawk. Captain Miraculous trained great. Paul Johnson, the gentleman I mentioned in the earlier video, had come from England. He owns Airway. Got to get his picture taken with Airway, so that was awesome. He owns a big chunk of Captain Miraculous. Got to see him train. I had told him he's got that curb behind that we're just trying to address, and we'll cryo that this coming week. We did train him anyway, and he trained great here. He was happy with him. Smart colt. Man, oh man, that's a smart colt. Where are we at? Captain Miraculous cruising with Angus on the right line still. Right foot bothering him. I think I have an idea. I think we're going to address that this week, and I think we can help cruising with Angus. We'll see. See if I'm wrong. You can call me on it on the next drone session, which will be Mother's Day for you to see. So we'll see how cruising with Angus looks next Saturday for us, for me. Maybe even Wednesday. I might take him to Mohawk Wednesday. Curious Winner. Told him to blister him. I think his right hind, his hock's bothering him a little bit. His knees are a little puffy. So just immature baby stuff. Nothing serious. He did his work well. Didn't run. Didn't want to run. So good for him. Mentally, he's getting better. Physically, I'd say he stalled a little bit this week, but lots of time. He's been in 214 or 215. I'm not concerned with him at all. Dance Hall Babe, another one. Looked great. Just putting in work, putting in time, trying to relieve her of those demons and that Angus Hall voice in her head, but she's getting there. Dancing on My Own, kind of lost in the shuffle on Friday. Not a big deal. She's not going to get over a half-mile track well. You're not going to see her do anything explosive at 2 on a half-mile track, and she doesn't have to. She doesn't race ever on a half-mile track. She's going to be ready a little bit later, as she's a big, gangly filly we're trying to put lots of muscle and weight on. She hasn't got enough weight right now. She's a little thin. She eats great, which leads me to believe that she's in a big growth spurt. So should be ready a little bit later, but still no concerns. Concerns with her. Dancing on My Own, very happy. Delcrest Star Angel made a break. I had one of my partners, I own a piece of her, I had one of my partners say, geez, what's wrong with her? She's 6 weeks behind, minimum. And I know it's hard to hear, and you have your hard-earned money invested in this filly, but just let her do her work. Just relax. She's going to get there. She's smart. She's starting to shine, starting to put on weight, starting to understand what she's supposed to do. We didn't have hobbles on her. We didn't have any boots or any poles on her. We're really just trying to get her in a position where she can function and do her work properly. I'm not in any rush with her, and we're not really pushing her. I probably still won't go with her until Mother's Day or after Mother's Day, but don't be too concerned with Delcrest Star Angel. From where she was to where she is a light year. She's not even the same horse. She's learning to be a good horse and having fun doing it. She's going to make mistakes. Not a big deal. Just relax. It's a process. Keep telling you that. But Delcrest Star Angel, we overpaid in that one big stake race in the fall. She is not going to be ready any time before the end of August. So lots and lots of time to put lots of miles into Delcrest Star Angel. Final answer, biggest mover of the week. Touched on him. Very impressive. Could not impress me more than he impressed me yesterday. Very, very, very talented colt. Friggin' Biggin. The Biggin come out swinging again this week. Just have to have him dialed in when you go a mile with him. And his knees bother him a little bit. We're going to work on his knees and feet, but obviously, you give this colt an opportunity to do his work. He's going to do it, and he looked great yesterday. Very, very impressed and happy to see the Biggin come out swinging. Her at 8, probably your best training mile of her life was yesterday. I didn't want Kyle to be first over, but he was, and first over against Springbridge Proud. I believe that's who it was, and was very, very impressive. Now, he drove way down the lane. She didn't give up. She paced as hard as she could to the wire. So, starting to see some real good things take place. Some real good things take place from Hard 8. Holding steady, can't talk enough about how well he is. That is the process taking shape. You're not going to see, you guys get to see these videos every week. You get to see the drone videos every 2 weeks most of the time. And you don't see that progression until we missed a drone session. So you didn't see him for a month. And then you see him come in, you're like, oh my God, he looked unbelievable. Yeah, that's what we're doing here. That's training babies 101. Put the work in, keep them sound, focus on, understand, address their issues, and continue to put that work in. They need to be backed off, back them off. They need to go to Mohawk. Go to Mohawk. It's 8 minutes away. Don't need to push them harder on this track, and don't need to put them in a position where you can injure them. And we've been doing all those things at once, and you see the culmination of that in Holding Steady on Friday. Looked very good. Ivanka, she was trotting hard at the wire. From what I could see on the video, she was trotting faster than any other horse in the set. She was about 6 lengths off the lead coming out of the last turn and ended up beat maybe 3. Very impressed with what I saw. She's got a lot of work to do, but lots of time. June 15th is her first stake, but it's a first stake for everybody in Illinois. So mentally, she's there. Physically, she's coming. Just a tad. Oh my God. Dropped off the top 10 list. That's not right. It was too late to make him 11. Whatever. Just a tad was very good again. I get up and beat him with Ervika. But we were trotting really hard in the end of it. Just a tad looked great. Harry was impressed with him. Sadly, we will be losing Just a Tad on Monday. He's heading to New Jersey Monday morning to join the Ross Krogan stable, which is fine. Ross Krogan's a tremendous trainer. You know, I expect big things from Just a Tad in 2018. So happy with him. A little unfair that he dropped off the top 10 list, but he's leaving Monday, so whatever. Candy Mac. I didn't realize. I got an email after Candy Mac trained us, and Garnet Barnsdale, he said, what happened with Candy Mac? So I'm watching. I go back and I look at the drone video. Mark Isabel's going with him. He missed the start with the horse. When we turned to go, I didn't realize he was way back. I said to him after, I said, you smoking drugs? What are you doing? Oh, no, I'm sorry. I mean, I see you turn, but I don't. He's French. He's a nice guy, and he keeps the horses quiet too, but that was an abomination. So Candy Mac trained great last week. Take my word for it. Didn't even get a chance to make the drone on Friday. And I'll train him in 210 or 212 in the race bike on Saturday. So Garnet, you can get some time off work to slide down to Mohawk Wednesday morning. I'll show you what Candy Mac looks like. Candy Mac got robbed on Friday of a nice training mile. He'll be out Wednesday at Mohawk. King of the Ball trained good again. I said he made a couple of breaks, but we referenced Ricky's cement hands. Ricky's cement hands and the equipment. It wasn't really Ricky's fault. The equipment shouldn't have been on the horse. And made a little break, not a big deal, but behaved himself and finished up really strong. He was coming 100 at me down the lane. Christine K trained great again this week. Very happy. Every week I see a little bit more progression from this filly. Exactly what I want to see. So really impressed with what I've seen from Christine K. Linnea closing like a freight train against Mo Better in the best horses we have the other day, Friday. Looked really good. Can't say enough about this filly. Think she's well on her way to being a nice horse. Maintenance Man, not his best training trip, but we put him in a spot he wasn't comfortable. He was bottled up to head a lane, and we asked him to pace hard down the lane, and with his hobbles a little long, I think he found it a little difficult, which was humbling, which is good. It's good. It's good to be humble, as they say. So, Maintenance Man, not taking him over to Mohawk yet. Just taking our time. I think this is a colt. It's a real special colt. No rush with him. He'll be over there in good time. Maybe actually I will take him over because there's a bunch of bad shadows over there and he wears that shadow blind. I might actually take him over this week, but we're not going to push him hard. Majesty Boy. I'm due to go with Majesty Boy, I think. He was kind of lost in the shuffle, sitting behind me, and then he let him gap off down the lane. And I'm going to go with Majesty Boy this week. He might even find himself over at Mohawk also. But sound good, looks great, trotting great, doing everything right. Just kind of lost in the shuffle, but nothing wrong with that. Last time that happened, I went with him a couple of times, and he exploded off the screen. So not any concern at all with Majesty Boy. Maxwell Plum, old Max. As I said, I was joking. I said Maxwell Plum tied up and didn't train for a week. Well, Ricky come first over with him, so he must not have got the memo when he was in Cuba. Ricky had a week off in Cuba, and I should have emailed him that. I should have emailed him his blood work because he come first over with Max, but he was trucking. Old Max, he was trucking again at the wire. He's a tough little bugger. Trained great. I was very impressed with him. Mo Better. It's pretty hard to be more impressed with somebody other than Mo Better. Springbridge Proud. Final answer in Mo Better, in no particular order. Mo Better beat her best horses. I did not see that happening on Friday. I did not see Mo Better jumping up and beating those horses on Friday. He was real good. I can't say enough about how good Mo Better looked. There's a horse that doesn't wear a boot, wears a little pole on the left. You know, a long hobble for a little horse, and man, can he pace out of his skin. He looked good, really good. On to some troubling news. Mr. Caper. Took Mr. Caper to Mohawk last week, and Louis Philippois was there, and he went with Mr. Caper. I went with, I forget who I went with. It doesn't really matter. So, starting our mile, I went with Swandre the Giant. Starting his mile, he kind of leaped in the air, and he came down and he jumped on his foot. You don't want to see that because they cut their foot, and they can bruise it, and it's a pain in the butt. I don't want to see that, but it happens. We started our mile over. He seemed fine. He trained great. He was awesome. Bathed good. Jumped on the trailer. It was fine. Saturday, he went out in the field. Nobody said anything. Sunday, he had the day off like we always do. Monday, he was lame. So I went and jogged on Tuesday. A little bit lame. Not horrible, but a little bit lame. Wednesday, he was lame again. Called the vet. The vet came in and x-rayed his knee. Nothing's wrong. X-rayed his pasture and his ankle. Nothing's wrong. X-rayed his foot. And so here's the thing. When you x-ray horses, I don't think anybody, I know I don't understand it, but a radiologist, so somebody that can read x-rays, it's very difficult because there's a lot of lines. When you look at an x-ray, there's a lot of lines and shadows and stuff, and I don't know what the hell they are. Veins and whatnot, I guess. I don't know. The vet said, so we'll put a bar shoe on his foot, stand him in the stall for a week to 10 days, see if he sounds up. So what the vet's saying is, I can't tell if he bruised his foot. I can't tell if there's a pus pocket or an abscess coming out. There looks like there might be a shadow now. The big problem with feet, coffin bones, the coffin joint, you don't want a crack to go through the coffin bone into the joint. That's bad. Bad, bad, bad. This shadow he saw, he called a butterfly fracture, and I don't know why. I can't tell you why, because I don't know. But he had the coffin bone. So the coffin bone hit a little break, but nowhere near the joint, on the outside of the foot, where he would have jumped on it. So either he bruised it, or he might have a line in his foot. So we put a bar shoe on him. He was lame. We put a bar shoe on him, but that could be a bruise still. And he was really lame today. Almost too, now this sounds stupid, almost too lame to be a cracked bone in my mind as a horseman. When you see horses crack bones, you know, that original first few days they're lame, then they kind of limp, you know, as you can imagine. They limp, but you can see they're favoring the portion of the foot, leg, whatever, that they may have cracked, but they can function. This horse couldn't function today. He was very, very lame. And for me, I think he may have a pus pocket in his foot. We might luck out. That shadow might have been a shadow. Might have been nothing. But it might have been something. So, Mr. Caper, if it is a line, it's 4 weeks in the stall, maybe 5, 6 at the most. He's not done for the year. The shadow in the place where it's at, I guess if you're going to crack a bone, that's where you want to crack it. So, the prognosis is great as far as if it's a pus pocket, great. If it's a bruise, even better. If it's a line, not the end of the world. He'll be back going. He'll miss probably the first stake race, but he'll make it. He'll make it back. So as of right now, the 3 things. Could be a pus pocket, which might take a couple of facing justice had an abscess for 10 days and I can't get it to pop out. So, and Kevin can tell you how much work they've done on him. They just can't get it to pop out. It will eventually, but Mother Nature works in mysterious ways, if you will. So it could be a pus pocket, an abscess. Could be a bruise, possible also. Could be a line. Could be a combination of all 3. Either way, Mr. Keeper's lame and is going to require some time off. Not the end of the world. As I said, this is when we want to see these things, is in April, not in July. You know, this happens in July. Timing's really poor. Piss poor. Probably would have meant that's it for Mr. Caper in 2018. Instead, it does not. And he will be back in the summer. So, he's going to need some time off. Not the end of the world. We found it. We'll address it. We'll fix it. Not an angel. Mario Bergeron went with her the other day at Mohawk. Liked the filly a lot. Said she was actually lazy. This filly was hot her whole life, so we can take all that shit we had off her. Earplugs and hood, choke plate that we had on her. And he actually said take the hobbles off her. Good. So we trained her with hobbles yesterday, but I think we'll go back to Mohawk this Wednesday, and she will train without hobbles. Mario might be around. If he is, I'm going to go with her again. I love this filly. Have from the start. I've always found a lot about her. She's exceedingly smart, very high IQ as far as being smart, racehorse smart, very high. Smart filly, lots of talent, lots of speed. Look out, Illinois. Not an angel's coming. Oh, so Pine. Went 2 trips with this colt. First trip, he jumped on his goddamn foot, sliced his foot, and you watched the video. He was lame, a little bit lame in the final, but showed a lot of toughness to do his work, and you know, I like that. I like a horse that goes and does his work and doesn't whine about it. Just goes out and works. He's a worker, Oh So Pine. Not concerned with the foot. Be fine probably by Tuesday morning. Might take him to Mohawk next week, depending on how his foot looks. Quartz Blue Chip trained like shit. Made a break. This filly's getting big. She's so goddamn big. I can't keep training her at this training center. Gonna have to take her over to Mohawk. Her knees bother her. They're weak. We're gonna change her shoes and address that situation. But no reason that she can't make it. You just have to understand that she wasn't comfortable doing her work the other day at the farm. So back off. Back off. Take your time. Get her back in the right frame of mind, both physically and mentally, and then move forward. That's going to be the plan with her. Ready for the beach. Harry said he was good on the right line a little bit. He was doing that before. He's got a splint that bothers him right front. So looks great though, this colt. Jesus Christ, he looks good. Doing his work really, really well. Very, very happy with what I've seen from him. I don't think he's ready for Mohawk yet. Maybe another week. The next guy is Rock on the Roll. I'm going to shake old Rock on the Roll up this week. He's coming to Mohawk and going a good mile. This colt was started way before everybody else. Bought in the first sale. He's got more work than anybody. Never missed any time, sickness or lameness. He's ready to go a good mile. He's coming to Mohawk with me this week. RV LeBron, he's got a splint right front that it's killing him. He was lame first trip and a little pinchy right front last trip. We're going to have to cryo that splint this week. The only thing that bugs me is he looks like he shot him. He's lame right front. If it's a splint and you're walking around that lame, come on now. Anyway, we'll cryo that splint this week and get to. He may have touched his knee yesterday training also, that colt. Remember, his knee blew up, and that could be a problem too. I never thought of that, and I know he's got him poulticed up. So Groom's taking good care of him. We'll get a fresh set of eyes on him on Monday and see what we can find with RV LeBron. Screaming Hawk looked great the other day. He was just on the front the whole way, though. We need to see this colt in a hole. I need to see him put in a position where he's not dictating the mile, where he's following. I need him to be more passive than aggressive. And looked great yesterday, but just floated to the front and did all the work. He can do that all day long. I trained him in 13 at Mohawk by himself the other day. No concerns with that. Need to see that horse in a hole. Need to see him, what he's going to do, how he's going to learn to behave sitting in a group in behind. So very impressive yesterday, though. Very, very happy. Screaming Hawk, see you in Tuscany. I mentioned one of the movers of the week. Looked tremendous yesterday. I love a horse. I love to watch a horse come back from an injury or come back from sickness the way he did, and getting stronger every week and more confident and cocky on the track. And really impressed with what I've seen from See You in Tuscany this week. Trained well on the movers list and on his way up. Stolen Dance looked good again this week. I love this filly. I say it every time I talk about her. Overcomes her injuries. She stands like a duck. She should. And she touches a knee once in a while, but she loves her work. And I think she's going to be ready to go this year at some point. As I said, late July, I believe, early August, she'll be ready to go. I'd love to see this filly take a 2-year-old mark and then take a good mark at 3. She's worth a lot of money, I think, as a broodmare. Very well bred filly. So impressed yesterday with Stolen Dance. Looked great. Did everything good. Sat move. She's learning. Very happy. Springbridge Proud. Number 1 horse yesterday. He never made the top 10 list before, so I can't really put him. He was the number 1 horse. He was the most impressive horse on the track. Out of all of our horses yesterday, was easily Springbridge Proud. Very happy with what I saw from him. Impressive colt. That big, dirty foot separation. This is the toughest. This horse shouldn't be ready to go this way, because we shouldn't have been able to jog him when he had that foot separation. He's out there with his ears up playing around like nothing's bothering him. He's a tough little bastard. I love this little horse. Stonebridge Loyal looks good also. Still a little soft in her knees. Got a splint that's bothering her. But trained great, jogged good again today. Very happy to see both of those. Keeping a very, very close eye on Stonebridge Loyal. I think quite highly of this filly. Stonebridge Simba dropped off the top 10 list, but every week this is a good colt. Every week this is a good colt. You know, when you look at the training session yesterday, you know, who's knocking on the door? Stonebridge Simba. Every week knocking on the door. Every week he's right there. Just a nice colt. And he's smaller than these horses, so he's getting a little more muscular, and he's getting to be able to trot with them. By the time the summer comes, he'll be hitting his best stride, likely, hopefully, on stake night, 2018 first stake night. Sunshine's Finest, first big training trip back since we got those curbs crowd. Looked great. Brett said he was feeling great on the right line, just a touch, which he was before, so not too concerned with that. Very impressed with what I saw from Sunshine's Finest yesterday. Sunshine Inn, I love horses that overcome stuff. She tied up very bad 6 days before yesterday's training trip and just come right out swinging. Looked really, really, really good yesterday. Little weak on the end of it, little on the line, but how couldn't she be? Her AST was 14,000, which is a ridiculously high number. And that was, 9 days before she trained. So it couldn't have been down to normal, but it was down low enough where she could train and looked great. Training on Friday, saw her today on the track, sharp as a tack. So good for her. Swander the Giant, number 1 horse of the week. Number 1. Absolutely earned it. You know, he took the number 1 spot, and he's a worker. Trained great, finished up great, looked impressive yesterday. Deserved the number 1 billing. The Butler did it, made a little break, but Danny had his hobbles a little long. I could see Danny's frustration. You watch, he hit him a swat with the whip after he ran. He was so mad. I don't know whether he's mad at himself or the horse, but made a little break in the first turn. And then I had told Curtis, I had a earbud in, and I told Curtis, just watch. I see Danny's going another half. After we were pulling up, going another half with the Butler did it. I said, hey, Curtis, just watch this horse coming out of the turn. He was flying coming out of the turn. Sometimes when you let their hobbles out, they just need to thaw out a little bit, and I think Danny lost him. But I'm going to take him over to Mohawk this week too. He's easily ready to go mile in 210, 212, so he'll be at Mohawk on Wednesday. The Butler did it. Too Far Gone, trained good, was right there in a mediocre set, you know, the slower set. But this filly is huge, huge. First time she gives us that indicator she's ready to go good mile, she's going to Mohawk too. I'm going to say it's 3 weeks away yet, but really impressed with what I saw from her. I've never seen a horse so. When you watch her training, she's got her ears up. She's looking at Stolen Dance, and I look behind, and she's got her ears straight up looking right at you. It's the funniest thing. You never see that with horses. You know, they're focused. They get their ears up, but they're not like looking around. She's like, it's like a party to her every time she trains. She's the funniest horse, but she's sound now. Her feet are under control, and she really likes her work. So about 2-3 weeks, we'll snap her on the bike and go good mile with her. Tomorrow's headline, still haven't had that curb crowd yet, but trained great. Jason's got him down in the barn now, and he moved hard past me with Autumn Wings, and I'm like, it's got a curb, you know. I thought we'd you know, duck him, and I spoke to him about it, but he said the horse was really aggressive and grabby. Moved him over. He was sound, so we're still going to crowd that curb, though, and take care of that. Tomorrow's headline's got nothing to prove. He already proved it a couple of weeks ago. We've been going easy the last couple of weeks. We'll crowd that curb, and he's another one in 2 weeks' time. We'll snap the bike on him and go good mile. Twinsburg finally found her feet. Finally found her training legs. I trained her here the other day, and she was ultra impressive last week when I went with her. And then she was good yesterday, but Todd went with her, and I think she kind of got over on Todd a little bit. You really got to spark her up. But, man, she can dance when she's moving. Let her hobbles out now. She got a big ass on her. She's really growing into her body, and if you go back, do yourself a favor, go back and look at some of her earlier videos and then compare it to yesterday and compare it to what she's going to look like on Mother's Day. After Mother's Day, you're going to have to do that, I guess. But very impressed. Very impressed with Twinsburg. The world's her oyster moving forward. No boots, no poles, big long hobble, and she can bounce. Time Houdini made a little break. Not too concerned with that. A little bit of driver error, I think, on Brett, but Brett was just being a little conservative with Houdini yesterday, and I think Houdini, if you watch right before he runs, he looks at the gate, he looks at me, he looks at the whip, he bounces around, and he rolls off. Just not focused. And this Colt's all business usually. I don't think I'm going to push him this week. I'm going to take him over maybe next week, over to Mohawk and go a good mile with him. But May 1st-ish, he doesn't need to be over there going a good mile just yet. Time O'Tulo made a little break. Danny had a Murphy blind in the outside. You can't put a Murphy blind in the outside of that Colt training. He is going to Mohawk and is going to go a good mile this week. He's due and he's ready. He's a little more streamlined and frail than Houdini, so he's ready to go a mile just a little bit before him. I'm going to take him over and go mile 2:10 with him on Wednesday. Warby Ultra, fantastic the last 5-6 weeks. She's been really, really good. Looked great again yesterday. A little smaller, so there's no need to rush with her. I don't need to have her to Mohawk this week. I'm going to say next week, maybe even the week after. But Warby Ultra really figured out her game and understands what to do, when to attack, how to attack, and how ferociously I want her to attack. She's got that all figured out. Really impressed with what I saw from her today. White Tiger. Took him out, trained him today. He was great. I'm going to make a prediction. White Tiger's our best horse in 2018. Trotter, pacer, don't matter. White Tiger's a very talented horse. I try not to, but I find myself wandering into a position where I compare them to last year's horses. And it's not fair because I don't know how everybody else's horses look. I don't know how everybody else's horses in any jurisdiction look. I can only tell you how our horses look. White Tiger is powerful, aggressive, strong, fast. He's got everything. He's got it all put together. And he's going to make breaks from time to time. We took the hobbles off of him, so a break here and there isn't shocking. It's a good horse. It's a good horse. I think it's a little early maybe to say it, but maybe I'll change my mind in a month or so, but I doubt it. I think White Tiger's our best horse. So really excited to see what he's going to do this year in Pennsylvania. And yes, trained great yesterday. Very, very happy with Yes. 2 moves to the front. Tried to fight off, but I don't think he saw Swandre coming until the last second, and Swandre's a beast. And he just hit a whole other gear. And, Ricky said Yes was good. That's the best I've seen him. So, Yes looked great, filling into a big body. He's a streamlined horse, but he's long and he's tall. He's really filling into his body. Really, really, really well. So, very happy with Yes. So, I don't remember talking about Cash In on Me. I don't know why. I didn't. He was dreadful. So, when we have horses like Boldness, Cash In on Me, that clearly just can't put it all together on their own, it really is trial and error. First, we take the vet to have a look at the horse. Both fluoroscope fairly clean. No significant issues to talk about or to focus on. You have Cash In on Me, who's a big, tall, long, gangly colt. And you have Boldness, who's a little shorter and compact. Neither of them do the same thing. They struggle in different ways. But Cash In on Me, I made a change on Thursday that I really thought would really help that colt. We put egg bars on him behind, and he was horrible. Absolutely horrible. And there's not much I can do about that. It happens. It was too late to change. So he looked dreadful on drone day, but he had looked good for 2 weeks heading up to that. So again, we come to that fork in the road that I was talking about with Boldness. You say, hey, I think we can help him. We go that way, and he's horrible. You got to come back and go the other way. So the trial and error will kick in, and we will take care of Cash In on Me in no time at all. I think he's been in 23, so he's getting there. Long way to go for this colt, but he'll get there. I said I think he'll make it in June. Not doing what I saw yesterday, doing what I saw last drone session and the week in between. Yes, yesterday no. So got some work to do, but there's no lameness issues. And as I said, this is a process for me, for the horse, and for you. And I'd love to tell you that there's an easy way to do this. And if the horse, there's some cookie cutter way that you can get them to trot all the time. There isn't. So it's just going to take work. The great news is that he's got a fantastic attitude. For a horse that really struggles on the track, you'd think he would get self-conscious. He's a worker. He's out there and does his work. Him and Boldness. go out there and work hard. And I got a lot of respect for a horse that wants to do their work. It's up to me to try and help them do that. They're going to make mistakes. Obviously, I'm going to make mistakes. But along the way, it's the whole point is to get them to the races and see what they can do. And Cash in him, he'll get there. Obviously, not the way I had him shod yesterday, but he will get there. So that's all the horses. That's all of them. Now, we went through the race horses. Real Willie winning. Airway for Paul Johnson. Congratulations. Him winning. Very impressed. I went through the babies. Springbridge Proud. Looked freakishly incredible. Mo Better. Where the hell did Mo Better come from? Mo Better trounced them. All the best ones yesterday. Mo Better was fantastic. And Final Answer really showed up. Coming out party for Final Answer, so to speak. I did not think that this colt was as good. I liked him. I said keep an eye on him. I think he's going to be a nice horse. I did not think he was that good. And what I saw yesterday was the outline, the starting of a real good horse, and something I was really impressed to see. So we had some bad news with Mr. Caper's foot. Not a big deal. It's not career ending. It's not even season ending. But something we have to address. Not a big deal. The good news is he's standing to heal this area. Any of the other little issues he might have, they'll be cleaned up also. So he might actually be better in the long run for this time off. So you'll notice I took away my clicky pens this week. No clicky pens. So Mr. Caper was good. Springbridge Proud was good. Mo Better was good. Final Answer was good. An entire plethora of other ones were very good. The only ones that were really disappointing were our best horses, so it's not really the end of the world. Maintenance Man, a little soft, a little flat, not a big deal at all. White Tiger made a break. Todd Cement Hands had a lot to do with it. King of the Ball, Ricky. You guys must buy gloves in the same store. Anyway, not a big deal. It was a great day. Plus 14 and sunny. Couldn't ask for a better day. I hope and pray that Mother's Day is the same type of weather. So hopefully, for us, for me, for the kids, for Amy, for TheStable.ca, thank you all for joining, watching these ridiculously long videos. Hopefully, you had all your questions answered about any of the horses. If you did not, if you have any questions at all, send me an email, anthony@thestable.ca, and ask anything you want. You can call me on this phone right here that I'm recording this on, 519-400-4263. You can text me on the same number. Get a hold of me on Facebook and Twitter. If you can't get a hold of me, you're just not looking. You're not looking. Anyway, thank you very much, everybody. Big week here. Next big drone day will be the biggest day of the year, Mother's Day Open House 2018. Do not forget RSVP. The email that you were watching this video on has an RSVP in it. RSVP for the Mother's Day thing. We already have 190 people RSVP'd for this. 190 RSVP'd. Well over 300 are coming. It's going to be a great time and a big day. Do not forget to RSVP. Want to make sure we have enough food and prizes for everybody. Anyway, thank you very much. See you soon. See you on Mother's Day 2018.